Meantime, negotiations between the White House and Congress continue for Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus package. President Biden wants bipartisan support for the bill, but many Republicans say it's just too big. San Diego's Latino community represents over half of all COVID cases, yet only 14% have been vaccinated. One group's push to clear up vaccine misinformation in the Latino community.
There's new data and opinions from CDC researchers on opening schools safely and what's happening in communities that have in-person learning. A data and policy viewpoint paper published by the Journal of the American Medical Association shows case studies out of Mississippi and North Carolina when schools opened. It found virus transmission within schools was very rare. Also, most kids were exposed while attending gatherings and school social functions outside the home or by visitors in the home. In Wisconsin, where kids were wearing masks, there was less COVID in schools than in the community.
The kids are completely on board with the mask thing. I mean, I've taught everything from kindergarten to 5th grade, like in the last couple, 2, 3, 4 months.
Longtime Florida substitute teacher Kathy Glasser has been back in multiple classrooms since early fall. She says she's never had to quarantine over school exposure. She's sent sick kids home and does daily temperature checks on herself and students. She believes classrooms are safe and credits leadership with putting guidance in place and constant communication. But she also believes everyone has a role.
I just believe that if you take responsibility for yourself, just like, and that's what they're teaching the kids. You know, it's your job to keep yourself protected.
They're safer than going shopping at the grocery store.
The VP of Kelly Education in the Southeast says one of the most disruptive things is opening and then having to close schools again because of outbreaks. That's why the Viewpoint paper points to some school activities which aren't appropriate and have led to outbreaks, like wrestling tournaments. Federal health officials say communities have to also be on board with reducing community spread by limiting things like indoor dining.
I think our schools have done a really good job on their own with very limited resources.
There are still lots of places in the country where districts are not enforcing a mask requirement.
The American Federation of Teachers has been advocating for schools to reopen by following the science, using masking, social distancing, and testing in communities with lower to moderate spread. Now they, along with every other education professional we talk to, are advocating for teachers and school staff to be a priority for vaccines.
They know in-school learning is important, but they have a right to be safe, and that's what we're trying to help put together in every district.
Some areas have started vaccinating or signing up teachers, but supply is a challenge. The CDC does include teachers in the second priority group for vaccines, but it's ultimately up to the states and jurisdictions how to hand out vaccine supply.
This 10 News Pinpoint Weather Report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air. Nobody wows clients like we do.
We are tracking rain coming late tonight. Meteorologist Angelica Campos is bringing us that live from home. Angelica.
Hi, Kim. It is nice that it's slowing down. At least we're getting another nice day today. But of course, we know we need to get ready, make sure that the water can drain. So if there are any leaves left over, you still have time to clean it before the rain gets here. Some clouds finally moving into the area. The temperature is at 62 degrees in San Diego. The winds out of the southeast at 9 miles per hour, and it's getting a bit hazy in Del Mar and also near the coastline. Big waves back between 4 and 8 feet. High tide tomorrow will be in the morning, so there could be once again some minor flooding, although there's just going to be a combination of both. High waves and rain, all of it at once. Flash flood watch will start tonight at 7 p.m. until 4 p.m. on Friday. We're expecting the heaviest rain to develop overnight into tomorrow. And with this rain moving so slowly, barely just making it into Los Angeles, just a few light showers right now. Expect some of that heavy rain to also move here overnight, again, lasting into tomorrow. By 10 p.m., the North County will see the first round of showers developing overnight, getting heavier by 1 a.m. So if you are one of those people who wake up easily, you may wake up overnight. It could be some thunderstorms. Also, the chance will continue into tomorrow. At 6:30 a.m., widespread rain across the county, including our mountains, because first is going to start in the way of rain It'll be in the afternoon after 1 o'clock when we'll start to see some mixing and then eventually changing over to snow. As far as our local accumulations for snow, anywhere from 3 to maybe 5 inches of snow. Rainfall, best chance overnight after midnight. Unless you're in the North County, it's going to start a little bit earlier. The wind's not a problem right now, but they will be picking up tomorrow, gusting between 20-30 miles per hour for the coast, inland, and mountains. Could see wind gusts between 40 to 45 miles per hour during the day tomorrow. So it's going to be just a combination of wind, rain, and possibly snow by the afternoon. In our 10 News Pinpoint 7-day forecast, 57 degrees Friday with rain and thunderstorms, 61 degrees Saturday, drying out for the weekend, and then looking at another opportunity for rain and snow on Tuesday. Showers can be expected also Wednesday morning. Inland communities, 56 degrees on Friday, 63 Saturday, 70s on Sunday for a really nice weekend before temperatures cool back down. Clouds return and then the chance for showers. But for tonight into tomorrow, heavy rain changing over to snow into our mountains. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll start to make that transition with cold air in place. Temperatures will drop another 5 to 10 degrees from today into tomorrow, and the snow will be right around 5,000 feet. So we're going to see some accumulations in our local mountains. Flash flooding, certainly the biggest concern, but long-lasting wind is also going to accompany that rain.
From virtual learning to working remotely, parents are juggling an immense amount of stress right now. So how are they doing? Chris Conti checked in with one family to find out in the latest in our series, How Are You Doing?
My tongue's still on fire.
In homes across America, families are doing their best to make it work, doing their best to handle every hurdle, every obstacle brought on by the pandemic.
So I can't email my teacher either.
At the Steele House, they've got it down to a science now. 12-year-old Dylan works in the den, 10-year-old Brady is set up in the dining room, while 8-year-old Sophie sits just out of view. But like families everywhere, they're over it.
Wow, Zoom's taking a while.
Evenings are rough behaviorally.
To see how parents are doing, we gathered the whole family together on Zoom. No one held anything back.
Do you like the virtual or are you over it?
I hate it.
You hate it?
I rather regular school, although I like the timing of virtual better.
The kids have now been doing virtual learning for close to a year.
There's no teachers to help you all the time.
While they have their schedules and routines figured out, their mom, Mary Rose, still struggles some days.
Is it just this like controlled chaos constantly?
Oh yeah.
It's not controlled at all.
This is the reality for families across the country, with kids learning remotely, parents working remotely, or both.
I feel like we're kind of compartmentalizing the days into, the morning and then the school day and then dinner and then, it's just pretty rigid in terms of let's make sure they get to bed by a certain time because we know we have to catch up on, the stuff that we didn't get to for work.
To help manage the school days while both parents work, the Steeles hired a nanny, something they know not every family can afford.
You can have a period of time where the three of them are working and nobody needs any help, and then all of a sudden all three of them have issues at the same time.
Like most of us, what they miss the most is having things to look forward to. Trips to Disney, family gatherings. A year into the pandemic, life just feels monotonous.
Even when I see people in the hall at work and they say, "Oh, hey, how are you?" and I even just go, whatever. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't feel like there's a response that I'm doing great, I'm doing good, I'm doing bad. I'm just getting by.
Mary Rose's biggest concern, though, is the long-term impact this year is having on her kids.
I think the biggest thing is social skills. Even when I want to go and do something with them, they don't even want to leave the house at this point.
But, like families across the country, they are making the most of being together, ready for the day when this hurdle will be behind them.
Oh, I can't wait to get on a plane and go somewhere, anywhere, literally anywhere.
I'm Chris Conti.
Skycam Views, sponsored by Carlsbad Solar.
We've all been in a hurry behind the wheel, looking to save a few minutes by going just a little bit faster than we should. New crash test video shows just how dangerous that can be, though. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and AAA demonstrated what happens when a small SUV crashes at 40, 50, and 56 miles per hour. At 40, the driver's space stays pretty well protected. At 50, you can really see the difference. The driver's side door opening, dashboard, and foot area are all compromised. But just 6 miles an hour faster than that, the driver's area is significantly impacted with severe neck injuries and bone fractures likely.
We did these tests because speed continues to be one of the major problems that we have when you look at U.S. traffic fatalities.
The IIHS president says speed is a factor in more than 25% of traffic deaths, and there's been a little progress in improving that over the last decade. Data showed speeding became even more of a problem at the start of the pandemic. While newer cars do come with additional safety features to prevent crashes, they still perform about the same in crash tests as the model vehicle used in these simulations. In fact, it was chosen because it's one of the vehicles that tested well in safety, and it represents the average age vehicle on the road. 40 miles per hour represents about 80% of U.S. crashes.
Saving a few minutes on a trip is not worth the increased risk of potentially being involved in a crash and potentially being injured in a crash. And so it really pays to slow down and save a life.
The Institute recognizes getting people to slow down is a collaborative effort from car makers to road engineers, policymakers, and even insurance companies. By the way, there are some insurance discounts offered for maintaining safe speeds. Meanwhile, NerdWallet found just a speeding ticket, not even a crash, can raise your rates by as much as 25%. Misinformation has been causing tension recently in minority communities, like during the George Floyd protests.
There were fake social media posts that really were instigating violence in the community, that were instigating, pitching communities against each other.
The key words to look for on social media so you don't fall for misinformation like this.
The push to get San Diego's Latino community vaccinated, why one group says the misinformation is playing a big role in Latinos not getting the vaccine.
You're watching ABC 10 News at 4.
Hit hard by COVID-19, and as a result, a vaccination superstation is set up in Chula Vista. But as ABC 10 News reporter Steve Smith explains, many in the Latino community don't trust the vaccine.
The vaccination supercenter in Chula Vista was very much needed. As statistics show, 56% of all COVID-19 cases in San Diego County are within the Latino community. And while that number is alarming, this statistic is eye-catching. Only 14% of Latinos in San Diego have actually received the vaccine. And the research shows it's all due to distrust.
If they are hesitant to get the vaccine, why? And we've heard some really great feedback in terms of some of the misconception and some of the misinformation that is out in the community that is leading to some of these trust issues.
Nancy Maldonado, the president of the Chicano Foundation, says a lot of the distrust is due to a lack of education.
So part of what we're doing is education and outreach to dispel these rumors and these myths so that hopefully people have the resources and the education that they need to make an informed decision about whether or not they will get the vaccine.
Nancy says while organizations are reaching out to get people more informed about the vaccine, individual outreach can also play a very important role.
If we could reach out to anybody that we know that qualifies at 65 and over and help them through the process, it is challenging. It can be a little confusing. So not only to help them get an appointment, but also making sure that they have the transportation to get to their appointment. I think if we could all do that at an individual level, it would make an impact.
I'm Steve Smith, ABC 10 News.